Welcome to the Soda 6.0 Hero Preview. Today's hero is Subterran Unix. Unix's passive is Sticky Trail, which leaves a trail behind the Unix and slows enemies for 75%. Useful when being chased above ground, Unix can unburrow or walk regularly to slow enemies behind her. Unix's first skill is Peristalsis. Peristalsis grants the Unix additional movement speed at the cost of energy per second. Increasing this skill will increase the movement speed and increase the cost of energy per second. I take 1 point in Peristalsis somewhere between levels 5 and 8, as its high mana cost is difficult to maintain early game. While burrowed, Unix can continue to use skills, and will be revealed for a short duration upon their use. 2.5 seconds later, the Unix will return to its hidden state unless otherwise detected. Unix's second ability is Fungal Toxin. Fungal Toxin is an AoE snare that deals spell damage over time. I put 1 point into Fungal Toxin at level 2 and max it first. Unix's last spell is Unix Marines. Unix Marines launches an egg anywhere within Unix's casting range, which hatches into a Unix Marine after 4 seconds. Unix Marines deal 15 plus 15% of Unix's total intelligence in damage, and this damage is dealt as physical, not spell. Unix's Marines also have 50% spell resist, and the eggs have 50% damage resistance. I put 1 point into this at level 1, and max it second. Unix's ultimate is Brain Sap. Brain Sap puts a tendril on the opponent and deals damage to them. This damage is converted back into health and mana for the Unix. 125% of the damage is health, 25% of it mana. Unix's talent tree is broken down into 2 different types. The first I have is 17 in utility, 3 in defense, and 5 in offense. The 3 defensive points are spent in evasion. Steady Mind and Brainstorm each are subtracted a point in order to make sure Brain Surgeon can be maxed, granting me additional movement speed. I put an extra point into offense for the additional passive timescale. In my offensive tree for Unix, I use 16 and 9. The 16 points are spent with only 1 point in Steady Mind missing, no points put into Brain Surgeon, and the additional points I have left over maxing my passive timescale and Madness. Extreme. My opening item build for Unix is a Pulse Regenerator, a Soul Engine, 2 Energy Potions, and a Health Potion. The Soul Engine is nice because it allows me to maintain my farm and still gains charges from kills with my infested Terrans. The Energy Potions are crucial because keeping mana early game for Unix allows you to continue to push your lane hard. The Pulse Regenerator builds into a collection of items that you can use later on in your Unix. Around mid-game, I usually rush a Schrodinger's Lockbox. The Schrodinger's Lockbox really gives Unix a lot of utility early to mid-game. The second item Unix should build is a Twin Paradox Isolator. The TPI is crucial in Unix's bread and butter. It really gives Unix a lot of utility in using both her ultimate and additional timescale for continuing to pop out infesteds to push a lane. Somewhere in between buying your Schrodinger's Lockbox and your TPI, you should buy an accelerator. However, completing your boots is not necessary until your TPI is complete. Both your Schrodinger's Lockbox and your accelerator give you plenty of passive movement speed, on top of the additional movement speed granted from Peristalsis. With boots, you have a lot of choices with Unix. I would advise Void Steppers for early game and upgrading to Star Treks for your late game. Void Steppers are nice because they give Unix some of the tankiness that you're not going to have before you buy your late game armor items. However, these can be subbed out for Time Walkers if you're finding yourself having lots of energy issues or if you want the additional time scale. Late game I like Star Treks, mainly for the fact that it allows me to push my lanes relatively easily and then escape as soon as a tower is taken down. Towards your late game, you want to build your Yamato reactor, and then you're going to want to outfit Unix with a coat of arms, as that gives a great passive to all of the Marines. Following that up, I have a nitrogen retrofit, which is awesome when Unix has about 300 intelligence or more, as it synergizes then with the ultimate, giving a massive slow. And finally, an Argus crystal for additional spell damage. Let's take a look at carrying with Unix. Here we see a shadow coming in, so I lay some infested Terrans and attempt to move out of the way of his slash. I'm unable to do so, so I instead fungal and let him absorb the damage of my Terrans. Here, behind my wave, I start laying more infested Terrans and spread them out as the Shadow approaches. Shadow hits me with his cleave, so I immediately fungal. He takes both the damage from the fungal and the tower, as the Marines lay a constant DPS, forcing him to escape, preventing him from continuing to farm on this wave. It's good to know that Unix can cast her Marines without line of sight, allowing you to continue to farm with incredible ease while maintaining your lane presence. Look at how at level 5, my 7 Marines and 1 Toxin is able to take down this entire camp of super creeps. Here we can see Unix setting up to push the tower. With almost a full creep wave ready, I quickly fungal to take away the rest of the Zerg forces, and then spit out all of my Marines. Shadow comes in, but the spell resist saves the Marines from all dying in one creep. I'm then able to continue to push and harass the Shadow, preventing him from getting close. At the last moment, I Schrodinger's lockbox, allowing my Marines to continue to push the tower, forcing the Shadow to escape. Here we have an example of a Unix escape. I put a few Marines down to deal slight damage to the tower, and start to walk away. Naboros bolas me back in, and begins his spellstorm. However, my sticky trail prevents him from getting close to me. At this point in the game, I'm ganking top. I see Rory, Egon, and Rancor, with my own cow and Rancor around. I lockbox the Egon, and wall him off from escape. He turns around, and even though my fungal misses, we're able to keep a constant DPS up on him. I send my Marines forward to attack, and their constant DPS takes down the Rory with ease. Now the Egon, even with me retreating, still takes massive DPS from both my creep wave, the Rancor, and my Unix Marines. This allows me to swing back down, burrowed so that he cannot see, and to deal damage to the Rancor, securing the triple kill from our team.